Okay, today we have to start from 8:30. No? Right. Only some good new message, no? All might got the message, but they are coming targeting 9. We have to do one lesson. No? Last one has been considered in your assignment also. No? New trends. Actually, even in some topics we have identified new trends in discussing all matters. Then first we will try to do the last lesson, no? Power politics. It is also considered for leading function. How do you know? Online members can see, no? See and hear. There are only one member, one or two members. One member. They also may be thinking of the usual normal time.
Who has passed the message?
No, Miss Jennifer, no, specifically mentioned that today class is from 8:30 to 12:30, no?
Okay.
4 hours.
But now we have a group, no one is sharing.
Yeah, the new time slot should be available to the students, no? Everybody. We did the controlling. Last one we did, no? We have to do the other one. Twelfth one. Yeah, this is the one, no? Right, power and politics. So power politics. This is also discussed under leading. A leader should use power politics successfully, no? To influence others to get the task done. That's why we define leadership course, no, as, but that should be done to measure the situation or ethically. And similar topics in this nature, right, are coming in your OB also later in your semester 3. Right. Then after we finish all quizzes, no? That may be one reason. Yeah, that may be one reason. Some others not to attend. No extrinsic motivation. Right. That's the reason. But they will come at 9. Some of them would join at 9. But anyway, we will think that we started at 8:30, no? Otherwise, we are violating the given schedule. I was here around 8:03 or 8:05. Yeah, power politics, then these are the areas we are going to cover. Then in this lesson also there are two concepts, no? Power, politics, going all together, right? Which first we will identify the things on power, then on politics. But both are interrelated. Then I have used this photograph also of this popular, famous philosopher Niccolo Machiavelli. Machiavelli is treated as a father, another father comes in, father of modern political science, or modern power and politics. He was the advisor for the Roman palace those days. He was an all-rounder, being a novelist, poet, a philosopher, and mainly a military advisor to the Roman palace, who through Google you can know more about him. If we consider the central idea of him about this topic, it says his most principles can be located around the statement in matters, not the mean. In matters, achieving the end task is important. Whatever the strategy used, then it is applied. For him, it is applied for the palace or what is called emperors, for the country rulers. But when the similar principles can be used, applied for the organizations as well, to consider the manager stakeholder relationships. Here, as the actors, we can consider managers. As the audience, we can consider stakeholders for organizations. Then for organizations also, when they use power politics at individual level, group level, and other levels, that statement or central idea of Machiavelli can be related even today, even in future. Even organizations also should try to satisfy their strategic goals, whatever the strategies, activities they use time to time, through managers or through employees. That's why I downloaded and pasted this one here. But when you are free, try to Google for these people and to know what they have done, they have said. The ideas still live with us. It matters, not the mean. But one can argue that not only the end, the means also matters. But finally, whatever the mean now, even at the national level, we see a lot of strategies are using. Finally, all these are justified through media and others to protect them, their side. Right. That's how Machiavelli's ideas have been presented. Though there are time differences over centuries, we see similar practices are used, similar strategies are used to influence others. Right. That's the role of power politics, nature of them. Right. These are some advanced explanations about power. One way power can be considered as how do you means actor. You also sometimes play the actor role, and in other times you are in the audience, right? Here, power means how the actor gets others to carry out his or her wishes. That is one right explanation about power, right? Another one, power is the potential to successfully influence another. Another means another's behaviors and actions. Right. Then next point says the power is the capacity to have a desired effect or an expected effect on others' behaviors and actions. Finally, it is the social influence. It means making a social influence, right, in social relations. In organizations also, we can see similar things are happening. Right, then next we will see some formal definitions, formal explanations about this concept of power. First, Max Weber, the known German sociologist, has defined power as the probability that one actor in a social relationship in a position to carry out his or her own wishes, even there are resistances. Those resistances can be minimized. In our society also there are a lot of resistances going on, no? As even in unions, in talks, in protests. But using the power holders, actors can overcome to satisfy or to justify their ideologies. Right. Therefore, Max Weber's idea is correct. We see that is happening in modern power and political actions used by power holders or used by actors. Right. Then Prefer is another popular scholar in this area. He has defined that it is the potential ability, using similar words to Weber's words. It is the potential ability to influence behavior, to change courses of events, to overcome resistances, and to get people to do things otherwise they don't do. Right. Then that's the nature of power. No, it can make people to do things otherwise they don't do in a normal situation. Then power has that capacity or potential, right? But that power does not give 100% guarantee to achieve the success, but there can be a successful consequence or failed consequence. The chance is there, probability is there. Right. Then Chester Bernard has explained the same concept in his book, Functions of the Executive, in the areas of informal teams and informal authority or informal communication. Therefore, those ideas can be used to understand the second source of power generation, that is called informal power or personal power. The other one is the Weber's ideas, etc., can be used to understand the other source of generating power. That's the formal power, the position power, legal power. Right. In the motivation lesson also we noted that under the McClellan's three needs theory, in that set diagram, in the set diagram we noted the power need can be generated through two sources, formal power, informal power. Yeah, Chester Bernard has mentioned more about informal power. Then other scholars like Weber, Pfeffer, etc., and so on have identified the importance of formal power. But we have to consider both. But more influence can be given through personal power, informal power. Right. It depends on the person. Now, Mr. Ranil comes in, is using his personal experience to influence others, which cannot be done, expected from another, and another to do in a similar way. Therefore, much influence can be given based on the personal experience, knowledge, intuition, and capacities. It is typical to that person. Right. That's how we can define and explain the power concept. Right. Then we will identify the five types of power. These are the five types of power seen in a society or in an organization. What are these? First one is reward power. It gives the power holder actor to use limited resources. Now, government is also going to do that, to influence people and to get their right attention. Giving some concessionaries, the essential items can be sold at a cheaper price. I am disclosing the information, sharing the information for our understanding purpose. I will not be a biased person to any political party, but we have tried in classes. We have to discuss the real things happening, not to hide them. Right. Then in organizations also, managers have been using this one, because it is well recognized as a HR function, reward management. Right. Therefore, even politicians should do that. They can do that. But it is up to the audience to understand the real nature and use their power. They also have power. What power? Voting power. They have the voting power. Right. Getting all these and carefully evaluating, they have to select the best decision. Make the best choice. Right. But it is not the perfect choice. Right? It also should be relative. We have to vote for the given candidate, Right. We have to select the available candidates. Right. Next power source is what? Power type is coercive power, which is highly used by governments, no politicians. Fear making, coercive. They try to use this fear making to influence others and to get their right attention forcefully. Right. Managers are also using this. Right. But this should not be done at the first or second or third level. But after that, it is reasonable. Carry out coercive power. Right. Then third one is the legitimate or formal power. It is the right to influence others or make decisions or direct others based on the position. The position gives that whoever comes there. That is similar to the formal power, right? But the first three are first three are formal power. The last two are informal power, which are changing person to person, no, among persons, right? Fourth one is knowledge power or expert power, where the attribute of knowledge or expertise of the power holder can generate the power, no? Certain level of power to him or her, right? Then qualified person can gain this, no, as a doctor, as an engineer, or as an accountant, as an auditor, as a management consultant. Their opinions can be used to gain power, influence others, to get the right attention. Then others should follow them. Their ideas, consultations should be followed by them. Right. That is happening in organizations as well, no? That's the purpose of having different departments as production, marketing, finance, accounting, HR, ICT. They use their power, expertise to achieve the corporate goals. Right. Last one is very important. It is the referent power. Finally, this is coming from the followers. Followers should decide this. This comes with their desire, acceptance, agreement. Therefore, all power holders should know that though they engage in the similar activities over and over, finally, it's a matter of safeguarding their referent power, which comes from the large society, population. It cannot be undermined. On a day, no, they decide whether the actor is a good leader or not, or an what is called unethical leader, right? Finally, ethics matter, no, right? Which are decided by others, right? Then you can bracket the first three and consider these three as formal power, sources of formal power. The last two can be bracketed and say as informal power. Therefore, the two words named formal, informal can be used here also to mainly classify organizational power. Then we use the same for classify groups as formal groups, informal groups, to classify communication as formal communication and informal communication. Here also, no, we can use the two terms, formal, informal, to classify power, organizational power. Right. Then you can have a chart. Should I draw that chart? They can't hear.
Sir.
Yes.
So the referent power is not much clear. Can you explain once again?
Referent power. Yeah, referent power is the one decided by the followers about the leader's performance and the behavior, right? Familiar to them. Then it is the particular acceptance or the desire, recommendation of the audience or of the civilians about the leader, whether the leader is a true leader or not. Therefore, finally, using the four types of power, we initially identified that remote power, coercive power, legitimate power, expert power. The leader should know that that finally determines by the referent power. If I further elaborate that, if the reward power has been used by leaders on a biased way to discriminate some groups and to favor another group, then it's an ineffective use of reward power by the leader. Then that will lead to reduce his or her referent power. Then the majority will comment on that, no, over time. That manager has favored one group and unfavored or discriminated at the other groups. Likewise, no. Then the majority or the minority would comment on his behavior, right? As a misuse in the reward power. Likewise, if a leader tries to use fear-making or coercive power unnecessarily, even from the first chance, it also can lead to reduce his or her referent power. The others will criticize that. Right. Likewise, if the leader or the manager uses the other sources of power, his or her formal position and the expertise knowledge mistakenly, then all those will lead to reduce his personal power, referent power. Right. Therefore, that relationship can be used to explain the ethical use of power, the need of using power ethically. Then that mutual relationship of the first four with the last one can be elaborated. Right. Then shall I write down that on the board? You understood that, no? Clearly now.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
This is applicable for all leaders, even for the global leaders, national leaders, and organizational leaders. Holding big positions or influencing positions, all the actors, no, those people holding those positions should know this mutual relationship. Finally, the way they use the first four types of power: reward power, coercive power, legitimate, and expert power, would determine their personal power, referent power. Right. There's a mutual strong relationship between these. Right. Then organizational power can be mainly divided as formal and informal. No? Informal power. Right. Then first three can be taken here, no? In this manner. The last two, fourth and fifth, can be taken here. Then we can write down the same words now. Reward power, coercive power, and legitimate power. No? Then expert. Another name for expert is knowledge. Yeah. Or knowledge power. Then referent one. This comes from subordinates, comes from the audience. You are the audience, no, in this class. Right, then we identified that mutual relationship, no? Knowing that is very important. First, we have to know this classification, and you should be able to briefly explain these one by one. I have done that now in the slides to a certain level. Then after that, we can circle or call out these four, no? Then this can be taken separately. Then there is a mutual relationship of the two, no? Then that can be used to understand ethical use. Ethical use of power, ethical side of power. Right. So you asked to do today's class between 8:30 to 12:30, no? In a message, no? We were asked not between 9 to 12. I don't know what is the reason, then I also followed that. Okay, then in the said manner, no, you should be able to describe that the mutual relationship. But first, you should be able to identify these five types of power and to briefly explain them. Online members also can see the whiteboard, I think. You also can get down them. Right. Then in performing our task, no, whatever the job, whatever the position, we should know the mutual relationship. In always, I think one of the powers might be using by us or some of them together. Mostly we use the expert power, no? Use our knowledge, understanding to perform a job. Then the way we use that can determine our reference power finally. The others exceptions can be the reference power. When we hold available managerial position, I think not only one source, we can those power holders, no, may use all the power types. Then that is more decisive. But there are time differences, no? To see the final effect of the power, audience. There are time differences. In some societies, it is dragged further and further. It takes longer time to see changes. In some societies, no, it happens within a shorter period of time. Right, that's how these five and their mutual relations should be understood. This part is very important. Has to be in the audience side as well as in the power holder side. Time to time there is an interplay between the two, power actor, audience. The status of power changes between the two parties. In a perfect competitive marketplace, consumers have more power than the firm. In a monopolistic or duopolistic situation, even in oligopoly, the firms, those firms have more power. Right. Therefore, it depends on the situation. Here, power means actually the bargaining power. Bargaining power between the two parties, actor, audience, bargaining power. In a family also we see that, bargaining power between mother and father, bargaining power between parents and children. Our children are more powerful than parents. Not like old days. They try to dominate parents even. They try to dominate teachers even. The younger generation. But we don't say they should follow what is everything told by parents and adults. But to a certain level, they should listen to them. Right. Then listening, they should select the best one. But they are reluctant to listen to them. Right. Therefore, to make a decision, we should use our listening carefully. Without listening, in communication, we discuss that. First, we have to listen to others. After that, only we should make the final decision. Even to communicate, the number one is listening. After that, we have to communicate with others. Right. Then power part is over. Now we come to the other side, politics, political side. Then these are the two definitions given on organizational politics. The similar definitions can be used to national or international politics as well. No differences. All might be taken from Machiavelli's ideas. Right. Then as per Toffler, organizations or companies are always engaged in internal political struggles, power struggles, infighting, and so on. Right. That's normal life. We should bother of them. We should deal with them. We should live with them. Right. That's the normal life. In societies also same. That's the normal life of the societies. They are always members in the societies are always engaged in internal political struggles, power struggles, fighting, and so on. That has come from the conflict theory in sociology. Conflict theory. There are two main theories: conflict theory and what is called integrative theory, social integrative theory. But both should be considered. But above integration, now we see a lot of conflict behaviors of members in societies. Yeah, in now such an era. Right, that's the normal life. Right. Then all organizational activities are in political nature. Even operational level activities bring politics, but the long-term activities or strategic level activities bring more politics. We will identify that them next, right, in the next slide. Then another definition is given by these two scholars. They say that organizational politics consists of intentional acts or very planned acts, intentional, purposeful, or deliberate acts of influences. How we define powers, influences undertaken by both individuals or groups. Power politics can be used by not only by individuals but by groups also. Groups also. A political party is a group. Trade union is a group. board of directors are a group, right? But in a group, we have to consider individual behavior first before the group behavior, right? But both can engage in undertake influencing actions, intentional actions. That is called organizational politics, right? For what? To enhance or safeguard their self-interest, self-understanding, self-behavior. That is highly visible when different actions or conflicting causes of actions should be taken, right? Alternatives should be taken. That means in all decision makings, in all decision makings, the members become power and politic oriented, right? They feel power politics in all decision making, right? Then, as I mentioned in this slide, we can see major areas where we see high power and political actions in societies and organizations. One is this was already mentioned, identified in reward power, in sharing and providing limited resources, scarce resources like funds or money, machines, buildings, lands, information, people, even time. In sharing these valuable resources, the societies, organizations, people become power and politic oriented. Power and politic oriented, right? Then in making all decisions, as I mentioned, we see certain level of power political actions are going on, but which are highly relevant for making long-term decisions, complex decisions, which are ambiguity, uncertain, and long-term oriented, and more strategic, where members are more vulnerable to power and politics. What are the examples? Business expansions, mergers, acquisitions, strategic alliances, expanding buildings, lands, renovations of buildings, introducing new technologies, new management practices. In all these situations, the participants become more power political, right? Then achieving all goals, the members become power political, but it is highly seen in trying to achieve complex goals, ambiguous goals, which are not clear. Scope is not clear, KPIs are not clear, then such situations bring more political behavior in organizations. That is natural, not bad, right? Then, as I mentioned before, even it comes here, using new technologies in the workplace or in society, and when members try to adapt to the external environment, as we discussed in a previous lesson, the environment or situation itself brings a lot of power and political behavior. The turbulent nature of the external environment stimulates power and political behavior. It happens during the COVID pandemic situation. We lively observed, experienced it. It happened at the global level. Global level. It's a result, of course, of the increased globalization. Right. The last one. In undertaking any change, planned, unplanned, systematic, unsystematic, in all changes, the particular change effort situation stimulates political behavior in societies and organizations, right? Then I can give, I have given examples already in introducing ERP systems, IS systems, quality management systems, lean management. In all these efforts, these organizations become highly political. Right. Therefore, these are the key areas, major areas where organizational power, political actions are highly visible. Right. Resources, decisions, goals, technology, adapting to the external environmental changes, doing changes. These are not the familiar things for us, no? Not the usual things. Mostly these are unfamiliar things. Therefore, definitely we try to worry about it. We try to be panic. We try. The final thing is the poor communication. The good communication cannot be done because lack of information availability around these elements, no? Around these situations. Therefore, good communication would not happen. It is happen hardly. It happens hardly. That's the key reason. People to actors try to use power political strategies over the audience. Right. Therefore, the good appropriate communication is again the main solution to manage power politics successfully. Education and communication. But we will identify 10 such political strategies later. Now, yeah, from here we have to identify them. These are power and political strategies or tactics or courses of actions used by power holders. Used by power holders. Right. There are 10. There are 2 slides. One gives 5 of them. Altogether 10. 10 of them. All these are happening in our societies and organizations. We have been dealing with this. Right. But we have not identified them with these keywords, concepts. Right. First one is what? Having or keeping relations or alliances with powerful people. That is one major power and political strategy used in modern organizations, modern workplaces. Here, what is happening actually, what we discuss in groups and teams, the formation of different coalitions, alliances, interested groups is the main power tool or political tool used here. Then, if I give an example, in some public organization, mostly in public organization, government organization, even lower level employees, no, try to get connect with politicians. With that, those connections, they try to influence even the administrators, the other upper level managers and administrators of those organizations. Right. That is a small example. But even organizations try to engage in strategic alliances, no? Even corporations, organizations, private, public organizations, even universities try to have alliances with the local and international bodies and organizations. It is not bad. It is required to satisfy, all stakeholder needs, which are now very complex. Otherwise, they can't compete with other organizations in the sector or the industry. Therefore, this strategy, using this strategy, first strategy is not bad. We all accept that, and we all expect this. Right. Organizations are using this, no? Right. Not only the individuals and groups. Right. Governments are using. British government, no? Even US government, Japanese government, they are using to have relations, no, good relations with others. They have different coalitions as trade agreements, regional societies, associations, SAC, then NAFTA, SAFTA, WIPS, ASEAN, NATO are such examples. No, they have coalitions. They have formed coalitions based on their geographical closeness, based on their political interest, power interest. It is not bad. Right. In organizations, there are coalitions. Trade unions are there, employee groups are there, board of directors are there, middle managers are there, functional managers are there, or NGOs, donors are there, beneficiaries are there. Right. These are different quality groups. Right. Right. Then the second one is well known, no? Embrace or demolish. These are two ends, highly Machiavellian principles, which are highly seen in modern workplaces as well. Embracing means giving one more chance to the other to get involved. Demolition means avoiding that. Right. If I give a small example, in AGMs, company AGMs, ordinary shareholders can vote for different purposes. No, one way they can vote for appointing board of directors for the next term. No, if they are using the embracing strategy, right, as ordinary shareholders, they can think of reappointing the previous board in the next term also, right, based on their performance or underperformance due to some reasons. But due to the underperformance of them, if the ordinary shareholders try to appoint a new board, then it means that they are using the demolish strategy, not the embracing. Right. Likewise, looking at the situation and having the bargaining power, the power holders can use either embracing or demolishing. Right. It's a small example given. This can be used to other situations as well, other similar situations as well. Right. These are two-way behaviors of the actors, embracing or demolishing. Right. In certain papers also we use that. No? Sometimes we try to give similar questions the next time. We have that power, no? Right? In setting the paper. But we have that the other end also, no? Other end also. Give fully very new questions. Right. But we use a balanced way, normally, democratic way. Right? But it is up to the power holder, actor to decide that. Embracing or demolition. Right. That's how we should understand these things, these political behaviors, power political behaviors. Right. Then the divide and rule. It is widely used, no? From the history, no? Dividing and ruling. It's a well-known political strategy, highly used in the military as a military strategy, right? Where the power holders have the fear of using their power if they allow the audience to be much united. Due to that, they try to divide the whole group into different teams. Therefore, in a lesson we discuss modern organization, modern managers are highly using teamwork. No, it is backed by this strategy, dividing and ruling. But we all agreed that no, teamwork is essential to achieve the synergy. No, synergy, collective efforts, not only the group work. Right. Therefore, dividing and ruling is not bad. It is expected by us. It is intentionally used by the actors for the organization's benefit. Right. That's why we said at the beginning, I said based on the central aspects of Machiavellian ideas, end matters, not the mean. These are different means, no? If all these means try to justify the end results, achievement of corporate goals, then we have to accept this. Right. We can reject this. Then next one is manipulation of information, manipulate classified information. I mentioned this point I remember when I was explaining about filtering. Right. Actually, it is similar to the filtering of information. It is done for the betterment of the employees. Filtering, betterment of the audience. Actor does this for the betterment of the audience. But this was identified as a barrier to the effective communication in that lesson. But when we consider power politics, it is a positive thing. It is a doable thing. Right. Supervisors can manipulate information, no? Said by the senior managers. Next time or in the next half of the year, we reduce OT allowances this much because of this. But it would not happen to create competition among the employees and to get their right hardworking behavior. Such a communication is disseminated. That's the main ultimate aim of that. Therefore, it is not bad. Otherwise, employees would not work to cover up and to go over the targets. During seasonal periods, now Christmases, New Year's are coming, no? Then sometimes, especially for manufacturing organization, factory workers, such a message can be disseminated. We give such OT only for the people achieving this much of target for a day, for a week, likewise. Then both are benefited, no? Organization is benefited in fulfilling demand of the suppliers, dealers, no? Dealer demands. Then employees also benefited, no? Getting more allowances or bonuses. Right. That's how, no? When we discuss a lesson like this, filtering is not bad. It should be done for the parties' benefits. Right. Then next one is make a quick showing. Quick showing involves looking good on some projects or tasks right way in order to get the right people's attention. Not only in project section. This is similar to the managerial practice identified by the popular management consultants, Peter and Waterman, USA consultants. They wrote a book also, no? Management Excellence, such as Management Excellence. For them, this is similar to the management by walking around. Management by walking around, wandering around. Sometimes our bosses, they randomly try to visit the people, factories, warehouses, and plants, just to use this power political strategy to make a quick showing. Politicians are using this. Near to election, no, they try to go for villages and saying with a lot of promises, but all are not met at all. But they are following the same strategy, making a quick showing. Right. Therefore, that is to get the right attention of the audience. It is not bad. Sometimes such a visit, no, can lead to motivate employees, enhance their commitment. Some employees can discuss, no, our boss came today to discuss our problems, right? Then likewise, they can appreciate such a movement. Right. There are other 5 as well. Next one is with this short name, no, acronym, IOUS. The full meaning of that is IOU. I means the audience. Audience, how the actor. Right. Here the reciprocity concepts is happening. That means reciprocity means two-way relationship. Then actor first tries to give a favor or help to the audience, but he or she expects another favor back, right, from the audience. Not soon, but in a time. In time. Therefore, multinational firms are using this one highly using this one. IOU method. In enter into new markets and establish to the entered market, they do this one. First, they try to give a small engage in a small CSR project, right, in a local government of the country, right, to attract the attention of the central government, local government, and the community around. Then after that, they try to expand their product portfolio and services in that country, in the market. It is not bad. Both are benefited, right? Both are benefited. Sometimes they expect tax holidays, tax reductions from the government, right? But first they try to engage in different CSR projects. Therefore, green marketing, green management is not bad, no? CSR is not bad. It is highly expected. Corporate social responsibility. In annual reports also they have to include, show them. Now there are accounting standards also, international accounting standards also, no? To show the company's orientation for CSR and to safeguard the environment, planet, those things. Right. Therefore, those are the end results of these efforts, power and political efforts. Right, this one is presented as an old Arabic proverb. What is that? Camel said in the tent or in the nest. Camel said in the tent. That means, you know, the camel's head, no, it is odd, no. Once it is inserted into a tent or nest, very difficult to pull back. The meaning of that is used to understand this power and political strategy used in modern societies and organizations. Here, we identified the change, last point, change as one major area of power and politics. Then, with that, this strategy can be much explained. Here, the chain agents, the actors try to work as play as chain agents, right? Playing the chain agent role, they try to introduce the whole chain process not at once, but in different stages. First, they might prepare a nice proposal, and it is presented. Then there are massive benefits, different benefits. It is nicely presented. Then with that, the chain agents can get the attention or support of the audience. After getting the support to the proposal, they try to implement it step by step. Then later on, the audience, people cannot reject that because they have accepted the proposal, right? That's how the underlying behavior, right, behind this old Arabic proverb has come as a power and political strategy in modern business work and in modern societies. It is implementing that in a piecemeal, step by step. That's how strategy should be implemented, no? Step by step. That's the idea behind Kaizen, no? Continuous improvement, steady improvement, using day by day changes. Therefore, it is not bad. It is well accepted now by societies and organizations. Camel sat in the tent. Even in a presentation, we should follow this, no? we have to communicate the message step by step in a way, in a structured way. First, we can give the outline of the presentation, what we are going to talk. Then step by step we have to touch upon. I am using the same, no? First, I highlight the learning outcomes for a session. After that, step by step, I am teaching them. You can learn them. Right. Therefore, I am also invariably using this strategy, no? Camel's head in the tent. Most all teachers, lecturers are using this one. Camel's head in the tent. Otherwise, they cannot convince, no, the particular knowledge or the concepts in the lesson to the audience successfully. Right. Next one, waiting for a crisis situation. Pandemic, it's a very good example. Then the particular goodness or badness of the situation. I think not only the badness, this should be corrected as the situation. Waiting for the situation or using the situation to get the right attention. The goodness or the badness of the situation also can be used by the power holders, also can be capitalized by the power holders to easily implement their ideas and the strategies. Right. Then the participants would agree with them. Then now government is going to use that, no? Right. We are charging high tax rates, taxes from these people as a solution for this economic crisis. That is their argument, no? But there is a rational basis in charging tax. It is up to the authority, Inland Revenue Department, to have a good database to expand the tax base, not only getting the high tax from the target group. There are other groups, no, who are not playing. They are going with different cases, but courts cannot recover taxes, no, as Inland Revenue can recover taxes. That is another strategy used by those people, no, businessmen. They try to be victims in cases on tax matters. Right. Then those are dragged further and further for years. Then actually they are not charged for taxes for those years, for such a period. Finally, a few can be charged, but the majority can be left. Right. That is one strategy used by taxpayers. Right. Not to pay tax. But it's a matter of using information, a good database, systematic. Then anybody cannot reject that, cannot go against that. Right. Then take counsel with caution. Yeah, it is another strategy used by power holders. In leadership theory, we said that democratic leadership is the ideal leadership style where the leaders should listen to others and they should invite the followers' ideas to make the final decision. But it is not happening genuinely in the practical scenarios. No? Therefore, the leaders try to show that they are listening to others, but finally they try to make the decision in a biased way based on their understanding. Right. That is another way to keep the power in their hands. Assuming that if they try to consult followers more and more, then that would be a threat to lose their power. Right. Therefore, that senior managers thinking and understanding is one major condition to see delegation empowerment in modern workplaces. Even the lower level managers and employees have the capacity and readiness to take part in the decision making. Unless the top managers have that willingness, the true delegation empowerment would not happen. Right. Therefore, we see the use of this political power and political strategy by power holders or senior managers in organizational decision making. in any country, it happens actually, no? We can divide countries that develop, underdeveloped to identify these matters. Everywhere we can see, irrespective of the nation's locations. Right. Then last one, I mentioned this actually, the bargaining power. Power means the use of bargaining power, right? This idea or these keywords are discussed in resource dependency theory. It is another firm theory introduced by Penrose, no? Penrose resource dependency theory. But there are key scholars also doing research around this. Bartlett, Gosal, those are popular researchers. These research papers are highly used in international business or international management areas. But it's a matter of considering the bargaining power, how bargaining power appears and used in sharing resources, limited resources, in hands with the others, in hands with the audience. Right. The same was discussed to explain reward power in using other power, other sources of power, even to see the referent power. Finally, it's a matter of having the bargaining power between the actor and the audience. Depending on the bargaining power, finally, the level of this power can be decided, determined. Always we have to consider the bargaining power. In a firm also it is happening, no? Bargaining power among divisions. If there is a full dependency, then in a garment factory, no, we see that as an example. In others also, if there are different divisions which are producing their inputs as outputs to another, then definitely internally we see bargaining power. But among organizations also, no, we see bargaining power in interdepartmental organizations, or definitely between business and customers we see bargaining power. Right. We have to decide that looking at the nature of the market, nature of the industry or nature of the market. Dividing them as perfect competition, oligopoly, duopoly, monopoly, monopolistic competition. It is another situation, monopolistic competition. If we take lawyers' behaviors, doctors' behaviors, we have to consider that monopolistic competition. Tuition masters, they are in the monopolistic competitive market. Therefore, they can personally decide what's the price, what's the quality, what's the way of delivery. They can personally decide, need not to consult others. Right. Then most of the things are looked upon based on the resource dependency, resource dependence theory. Right. There are some other theories also, popular theories like stakeholder theory, institutional theory, actor network theory, demand supply theory. It's a grand theory, always it is there. Supply demand to decide the interest rate, foreign exchange, right? Demand supply theory is there. Right, that's the end of this lesson and all lessons. I am not going to discuss new trends. We have identified already some new trends, but in your concept book assignment also I have given them new trends in management as one concept. There you can identify not all new trends, but some of them, like workforce diversity, managing workforce diversity, managing increased globalization, managing market economies, managing business in market economies or knowledge economies, then enhancing customer servicing, then improving quality continuously, then balancing work life of employees, work life balancing or minimizing work life conflicts, Then final one is what? Ethical. Ethical management of business. Conduct of business ethically. Right. Those are some of the new trends and issues. Right. Then business sustainability is another one. It has been given as another concept. Right. Right, I'll give some revision questions for this lesson. Right, question 1. What do you mean by organizational power and politics? What do you mean by organizational power and politics? Right, for that 5 marks, I'll give 5 marks only. Just introduce these two concepts. But another way we can say that power is the tool or the weapon, right, used to influence. Politics are the behavior. Likewise, we can distinguish. But in politics also we see actions of politics. Right, then next one, briefly explain the 5 types of power. Briefly explain the 5 types of power with examples. Briefly explain the 5 types of power with examples. There are 4 online members now in the meeting. Okay, for that 10 marks. 10 marks. The next question. Briefly explain the 5 types of power with examples. Full stop for that 10 marks. The next one. Explain the importance of using power. Explain the importance of using power ethically by power holders. Explain the importance of using power ethically by power holders. For that 6 marks, you can describe this mutual relationship. Right. The last one, briefly explain 5 major political strategies. 5 major political strategies. Briefly explain 5 major political strategies seen in modern workplaces. First of all, that also 10 marks. You have to briefly explain 5. Not all 10. From the 10, you can identify 5 and briefly explain them. Right. But we are not going to have a quiz again. No, we completed all 10 now. Therefore, today we are not going to have one. That may be one reason some members are not coming. Have not come. but all online members are here. They may be comfortable with the time slot, now, and the appearance via Teams. Right then, there's another document. It's a research article. We can quickly go through that to identify positive and negative sides of power politics. In anything, both sides are there. If you like, I can. I have not uploaded that, no? Right. It is normally discussed at the MBA level, master level. But to get ready for that, I can share that with you. Later, since if we discuss this, we can upload this to the LMS also. Please share it, right? This one. This is the one, no? No, this is actually discussed in OB. But your subject is not OB, management, na? But both subjects are interrelated, overlap. Right, the heading is similar to our topic today, major part of the topic, organizational politics. Right, then there is a colon to continue the title. The positive and negative sides of politics. Right. Then these are the keywords. Organizational politics, organizational behavior is the subject, the other subject. Yeah, there's a small abstract. We will read the full of that. It says there are two ways of viewing or perceiving organizational politics, either as a symptom of social influence processes that benefit the organization, that's the positive side, or a self-serving effect that goes against the organizational goals, that's the negative side. Both effects are there. Nevertheless, the concept of organizational politics is a key social influence process that can be either functional or dysfunctional to employees and organizations. Yeah, one way you can consider this part as another definition of politics. Right. Then next it says organizational politics, as argued by various researchers, can be either positive or negative. And this paper, this one, delves into the both sides. Right. Then introduction comes in, where we can understand more about the concept. Right. We will read this para also. According to these scholars, organizational politics are important since they provide an understanding of the informal. That's what I mentioned, no? Even Chester Bernard talked about this informal processes of conflicts and cooperations, both conflicts and cooperations in organizations and their impact on employee performance. Othman, 2008, mentions two sides of organizational politics in his paper on the role of justice, trust and job ambiguity, namely negative side. The first one is positive, no? That's the justice means positive. The negative side involves illegal behavior. Positive side involves the social function to enhance survival and success of the organization. Therefore, negative organizational politics are not approved. They have ethical dilemmas. Right. Positive organizational politics result to have shared goals and do collaborations. Right. Then the two sides are explained in details, no? Right. These are the positive side, the benefits of OP. OP is the short name, OP. I am not reading everything, but I try to identify, no, some important words and meanings. Yeah, we will read this one. Organizational politics and their process are often understood to be the organizational defensive routines that all filter legitimate information. Right. Then in communication we said it's a value, but here it is used. But organizational politics do not have to be power manipulation. Information can be manipulated, but power should not be manipulated. Then there are trust issues and hidden agendas coming in. Those are prevented. Those are avoided. Right. But better to use that in a functional way, positive way, no? Right. It is actually skill. Politics is a skill. Right. Then finally, positive organizational politics can give competitive advantages. Right. That's what we discussed in explaining the different political strategies in the handout. Then they help to deal with change, adaptations to the environment, and to achieve vision. Go with the vision to achieve goals, and to see equality, enhance the equality, democracy in the workplace. Right. Then political behavior can construct positive things. It helps formulation and implementation of strategies with those affiliations, connections, alliances, what we discussed in the handout. Politics is a skill, no? That means we have to have political sensitivity, alertness, sensitivity, appropriately. Yeah. Right. That can help all HR practices, no, like career advancement, employee rewards, performance evaluation, satisfying employee needs, and to enhance their motivation commitment. Then it helps to share information throughout the organization and to master in organizational learning and to present good leadership, enhance potential leadership among employees also. Therefore, it is said that leadership is political art rather than strategic science. That's the art version of management, right? It is not always a science, but to deal with these topics and practices, we have to consider, identify management more as an art, right? All these are arguments for organizational politics. Arguments for. Now we are going to identify arguments against them, the negative side. But even we are reluctant to use this word, no? Power politics in our day-to-day language also. Suddenly, automatically, we see the negative feeling about this. Right. That is true, no? If we, if somebody tries to say that you are a political guy, then you do not receive that as a blessing, but you will get as an insult or undermining of that person, of your behavior. That is our general understanding about these words. At a glance, we try to see them negatively, perceive them negatively. But now you have to change that mindset. After this lesson, now you have to change that. It has more, they have more silver sides also, positive effects also. Right. Right. Therefore, the negative words of the positive words given above can be considered for this dark side of power politics, inequality, discrimination, revenge, what is ambiguity, manipulation, high control, high power control, rank rivalry, egotism, forcefulness. All these can be considered to understand or disagreement, shortage, disagreement, deprivation, all can be considered as negative consequences of power politics. If done positively, that's the positive side of them. Then finally, what happened? If negative politics is pursued by employees, then their absences would be high, job satisfaction would be less, their commitment would be less, their absenteeism would be high, grievances would be high, frustrations would be high. They can lead to organize picketings, strikes, other trade union activities. Finally, high labor turnover can be seen in the particular employee category, which perceived politics negatively. But some other groups can be perceiving them positively. Such problems would not appear in those employee categories. Therefore, we can't generalize the effect of politics and power. Right. It should be understood, evaluated, looking at the particular groups, employee categories, or looking at the individual level, individual behavior. Therefore, we have to consider the Machiavellianism or the locus of control and the personality traits of the individual, which can motivate him or her to engage in power politics, positively or negatively. Therefore, individual behavior and the personality traits of the individual worker or the individual manager is the basis, right, to perceive politics differently and to engage in politics differently. Right. It's a matter of the individuality. Right. Even leadership is analyzed at the individual level, no? Individual level. Leader is an individual. Right. Then conclusion is given based on the discussion, no? About. We will read and understand that since it is a small para. The unitary notion of organizations says that members of an organization should work for common goals and objectives, no? Right. This may not be the case since organizations are a combination of various individuals and a plurality of interest groups, and thus internal politics may be a natural thing. Right. Then in a definition also we said that, no, organizational politics are natural. That's the normal life. One cannot ignore the possibility that people with certain personality types are more likely to engage in politics, such as with the Machiavellian orientations, right, with the grand need of power, right. Therefore, individual behavior can be the decisive factor as to see the engagement of politics as well as the perception of politics, the consequences of politics. Based on the individual values, attitudes, they try to analyze political behavior as well as to engage in the political behavior. Right, that's the final message given here. Right. But as we now perceived it only as a negative thing, negative what is called scenario, we have to change that from negative to positive also. organizational politics can bring a lot of benefits for all parties, right? As we noted in the particular section, right? Therefore, there is a need of having active actors who are willing to engage in political behavior positively, pushing ideas forward to achieve the organization's survival and success. Right. That's the role of this article. Then, since we have worked on this, I will upload this to the LMS also to this before this lesson part. There. Later I will do that. Then from this also I can give a question, no? Right. Please write down that. Identify both positive and negative. Identify both positive and negative effects of organizational politics with examples. Identify both positive and negative effects of organizational politics with examples. For that 10 marks. Then you can divide the paper into 2 columns and provide the points. Positive effects, negative effects of OP. You can list down them. Need not to elaborate. Right. Then in this way we can finish discussing the handout and the article. Then we will try to see anything is there in our ebook also about this. Definitely there can be, no? Sometimes there can be. But this is a topic appearing in OB, not mainly in management. No, I should change that. No. This is the second one. We have used the second one. We use the second one. We will have a break, no? Now 10:15, no? Here we will have a break. Otherwise, it would be boring to you. Yeah. Meantime, I'll find a suitable case or something. Yeah, we will have a break for about 15 minutes. Coming back, we will continue appropriately. Yeah. Right. Okay. Online members also can have their break for about 15 minutes. Right. Yeah. Any point can be communicated. From today. No, how about groups? We did groups and teams no? Earlier. Then we did communication, groups and teams, controlling. Today, based on today's session now, what is that? What you learned about power politics? Yeah, it is coming from the followers' acceptance, no? About the leader. Leader cannot determine that in a biased way. It comes from the other way, the other way. The use of other powers can affect the leader's referent power. No? We have to get ready, yeah. Then for the last lesson, I can consider this one. Even we did that today. Right, then anything else I want to clarify? Explain? No? No, that's all. And you had 4 marks, ne? But try to, there's another component, teamwork. Team is before they try to do that properly. You also want an option? What's your name? Vijay? Vijay Sekhar? Oh, is there a number also? Tushani? Alright, then can you, what the lesson you are going to select? Controlling? Controlling? Right, then what you learn about controlling?
Controlling service level, operations, check-in, testing, regulation, and verification of the adjustment.
There are some similar words, areas seen in controlling, no? Then what are the main methods of controlling? Organizational controlling? Methods? No. We have noted 2 headings, 2 types, not 2 methods. 2 methods of controlling.
financial control, non-financial.
Yeah, mainly we can divide control methods as financial control methods and non-financial control methods. Can you give an example for financial control? Used in organizations, financial controls.
Budget control.
Financial budgets are.
Budgets.
Then that's all you want to touch, controlling only. How about other lessons? Groups and teams? Motivation, all right. Then what learning point you got from motivation topic?
It's influencing people toward himself. There are two types of motivation theories, conceptual theory and
No, content theories. Content theories.
content theory, process theory. There are four theories under the process theory. Content theory, Maslow's hierarchy theory.
Now, what are the two types of employee motivation? Two types of motivation. We discussed it. Two types of motivation. Not theories. Yeah. Two types of motivation. Seems that you are not comfortable.
Extensive motivation and intensive motivation. Extensive motivation is a tangible reward.
Extrinsic.
Extensive motivation. It is a tangible rewards. Example, good salary, promotion. The intensive motivation is not tangible. Example, appreciation.
These are psychological rewards mostly. Right, that's all, no? Right. Okay. Right. Okay. Then, as I mentioned, depending on the situation, I will decide how the other 2 days could be done by me. But informally, I think this session will be the last session for me. If the office asks to take continue this class towards the end of March this month, then as another option, I have already used this. I can ask Mr. Supon to come and do 2 classes, at least as a tutorial or revision classes. Tentatively, I communicate these things. If the 2 classes are done by me or him, definitely those should be continued, no? To have some past paper discussions. He also can do that. I have to share the materials in advance with him. Prepare, no? For these are the areas we can see the matters we discuss today in this e-book, concept of power.
Yeah, similar definition is taken by them as well. German sociologist Max Weber, I think all can see, no? Even online members can see this. The red frame is there. Now it is shared, no? Max Weber defined power as the probability that one actor within a social relationship will be in a position to carry out his own will despite resistance. Right, similar words I were used in my handout also. The Max Weber definition. Along similar lines, Emerson suggests that the power of actor A over actor B is the amount of resistance on the part of B which can be potentially overcome by A. Right. Yeah. Here actor is A, no? The power, both the actors, no? The power of actor A over actor B is the amount of resistance on the part of B which can be potentially overcome by A, right? Based on the given definition, no? We can say if there are two actors, now here, not the audience, even among actors, power use can be seen, no, relatively. But as mentioned in this definition, at the end of this definition, Weber's definition, power helps the actor to carry out the action or wish, even there is a resistance. Overcoming resistance, it can be implemented easily. Then these are two actors, no? Actors A and B. Then actor A is going to implement a thing, but it is subject to the actor B's resistance. But if actor A has more power, he can have the potential effect to carry out that, overcoming the power, resistance comes from the other actor. Right. These are two actors. Therefore, actor relationship also can be there, no? Right. Then likewise, audience relationship also can be there, no? There are different audience categories, no? As we mentioned, different employees, they also can communicate to each other to know how to influence the actor. Yeah, practically we see all these scenarios in communication, no? It can happen among managers, actors, among employees, among managers and employees, like among organizations and suppliers, among organizations, right? Right. It is very divergent. Right. Then meaning of power. Power is the potential ability to influence the behavior of others. We also had a similar note. It is, in other words, the capacity that A has to influence the behavior of B. So B does something he would not otherwise do. That's what I also mentioned. He also mentioned. Then power can address such a situation also, no? It can help the actor to do things other than the normal situation. It is the ability to make things happen or get things done the way you want. It is essential for leadership also. Power may involve the use of one's potential that need not be actualized to be effective. Right. Example, a football coach has the power, expert power, no? To bench a player who is not performing up to par. A coach seldom has to use his power because players recognize that the power exists and work hard to keep their starting positions. Right. Power also represents one's dependency. The greater B is dependence on A, the greater A's power in a relationship. Therefore, always resource dependency should be used in relations. A person can have power over you only if he controls something you decide. where an employee is not dependent on the supervisor for receiving rewards, then that's what we discuss under reward power. Truly speaking, the supervisor has no power over such employee. Therefore, the employee should feel that supervisor may alter rewards on him or on me, right, based on the supervisor position. Right. Otherwise, supervisor cannot work. That has happened here also. No? There are more absences. With my announcement of no pieces going on. Right. That's how they personally believe that. Another feature of power is that it is specific in the sense that it can be exercised by some people. That too, in some circumstances. That's what we are identified in the different. No, it is dependent on the situation. Power cannot be exercised by all people all times. Yeah, it is highly volatile. Then types of power, reward power, coercive power, legitimate power, informational power. It is another name. Expert power, knowledge power, informational power. Then referent power. Referent power. Right. Then should I explain these explanations also? Yeah. Reward power stems from a manager's use of positive and negative rewards to influence subordinates. Positive rewards range from smile or kind, word to recommendations for a word, both. Intrinsic, extrinsic rewards can be given. Both can be given, no? Even a smile to motivate the people. I am not smiling well. Right. Positive rewards range from, negative rewards range from corrective type counseling to placing a person on report. Corrective type counseling to placing a person on report. Yeah, it's a negative reward, negative reinforcement. A manager will find one of the best ways to influence his subordinates through the use of reward power. As a chief, a manager is responsible for starting the positive reward process. Frequent use of positive rewards will amplify the effect of a negative reward. One must give positive reward freely, but should use restraint in giving negative rewards. If a manager uses negative rewards frequently, likewise punishment or negative reinforcement, not punishment actually, negative reinforcement, subordinates begin to expect a negative reward. Their expectations of a negative reward will lessen your power. Right. What's a negative reinforcement? Unexpected or unwanted appearance by the boss before subordinates would be a negative reward. No, they don't accept that. But for sake of saying, they may stand up when a boss comes there next to them. We do that. Even school children do that. They don't anticipate that, but for sake of doing, they do. It's a negative reward situation, right? Not punishment. Punishments are different. All these have come from psychological experimentations about animals. I think Thorndike is the one who did experimentations on cats, using cats, etc. And similar attributions were noted applied in human behaviors. Right. Thorndike is the one who initially identified positive reinforcements, negative reinforcements, and punishments, which can moderate our behavior, modify our behavior. Right. Second one, coercive power. Coercive power results from the expectation of a negative reward if a manager's wishes are not obeyed. Coercive power works, but is not the preferred method of leading subordinates. It works best if used when all else fails and you feel sure you can carry through with a threat. Yeah, actually it is not a negative reward, it is mentioned above, no? In explaining reward. Positive, negative reward should be used to explain the first point. Coercive means a punishment, threatening, fear making. That's how Thorndike classified in his original experimentations. Right. Coercion means punishment, no? By punishments. Rewards can be identified in both the ways, no? Positive rewards, negative rewards. With the positive reinforcement and negative reinforcement of the behavior. But anyhow, to a certain level, these explanations are correct. Right. And also these are Indian authors, they do some mistakes. And our knowledge level is better than Indian knowledge level. But they are very good in applying the knowledge than us. That's why they are now close to be the third economy in the world. But we have good knowledge, we are not using it. In cricket team also say, no, they have the best talent, but we can't see the stability of them. They are highly volatile. Then in the New Zealand match also, no, in the first innings of New Zealand, they had 6 wickets, no, around 160. But the last bowlers have scored massively to reach 400, 380. Therefore, our team has talent, but they are not stable. They are not using them in a proper way with strategies. Sometimes we can't expect, no, to draw the match. There's another day, no. If we end up with 300 even, they can get there. Yeah, we are lacking that one. How to apply our talents, knowledge is the very, weak point. But Indians are doing well. They are trying to use whatever they know for their economic development, social development. Right. Then next one, legitimate power. Legitimate power comes from the authority, position of a manager, manager's rate and position in the chain of command, hierarchy. Although legitimate power increases with added responsibilities, one can decrease that power if one fails to meet all of your responsibilities. It affects the referent power. Also, when a subordinate wishes to assume some one of your responsibilities, formally delegate those responsibilities to the subordinates. But we can't delegate responsibility, we can delegate authority. Right. That's how we distinguish these terms, no? Authority, responsibility, accountability. But anyhow, to explain the things, we don't see any mistakes here. Right. That makes the subordinate accountable to you. But this is a written communication, no? It should be done correctly. Right. Accountable to you. It is the third term, no? Comes next to authority and responsibility. You then increase the subordinate's power while retaining your power. Right. That's the role of formal power, legitimate power, right? Then this is another new term. I did not give that knowledge information. Both are similar. Then expert. Informational power depends on your giving or withholding of information or having knowledge that others do not have. Only you have that, no? Then definitely you are powerful. Your informational power when giving orders to subordinates. Give orders in such a manner that your subordinates presume the order originated at your level. When forced to comply with orders you do not agree with, don't introduce the order by saying the senior management said and present the order in a manner that leaves no doubt you initiated it. Then you have to be honest, right? Rely on your own resources to say fully informed instead of depending on others. Subordinates may present unreliable information in a manner that makes it appears to be true. Superiors may become so involved with projects they forget to keep you informed of tasks being assigned or upcoming inspections. Therefore, information is power. Stay informed. Right. Therefore, be informed and stay informed. Both are important. Huh? Last one, referent power. Referent power derives from your subordinates' identification or association with you. You have this power by simplifying being the chief. People identify with the ideas you stand for. The chief has a pre-established image. That your image is another one to identify the referent power. You can enhance that image by exhibiting charisma, courage, and charm, like Mahatma Gandhi, right? Charisma. And improve the image increases your referent power. Yeah, you can tell image also, person's lead image. Always be aware of how others will perceive your actions. A negative image in eyes of others will lessen your power, referent power, no? Right. Therefore, as leaders, we try to maintain positive image always. Then Gotabaya Rajapaksa lost that image. Now no referent power because he has misused reward power, coercive power, or legitimate power, and information power in some projects, especially in carbonic projects. Right. But now I know carbonic projects are massively used, no? Right, to double, triple the harvest. Then by getting the harvest by using the artificial fertilizer. It is not the problem of the concept, but the way it was tried to present at in those days. There are entrepreneurs now, I think, using these things, no, at the large scale national level. Some entrepreneurs are there. I can't remember his name. Maybe in Ampara or Buddha area. Expert power is taken, but some writers divide, no, knowledge power, information power separately, but it is the expertise. We can accommodate under the same one. It's the expertise, no, knowledge, expertise. Right. Anyhow, this is taken here as a sixth one. Right. Expert power comes from your knowledge, but here also it is used, no, knowledge. It's a duplication. In a specific area through which you influence others, you have expert power because your subordinates regard you as an expert in your rating. Subordinates may also have this type of power. Yeah, definitely they also have a certain expertise. When you combine expert power with other types of power, you will find it an effective tool in influencing others. However, when you use it by itself, you will find it ineffective. Yeah. Alone, you can use expertise, unless you are building relationships, right? Unless you have the formal power, the others will not accept it. Right, power and authority. Need not to explain this, no? Then I will study this case. No questions asked, but for the study purpose, we will do this. It involves both power politics in a family business environment. It is about bringing kids or children into the family business. Right. It happens in Sri Lanka also, no? Right. The Melbourne Group, no? A lot of group companies started as the family business. Even Toyota, they have family members, no, in the boards. Even big companies here, 8 constituents, they have family members. No? Mr. Hari Javardhan is the chairman, no? Even Dhammika Pereira's now daughter is performing well, no? Outperforming Dhammika Pereira, no? There was a news on that. Right. Bringing offspring into the family business, offspring, young men, can be a source of pride for parents who are business owners. It can also be a sore spot, a source of destructive politics, power politics, for everyone involved in the business. Right. It's a negative perception of that power political strategy. It is to enhance the coalitions, develop the family coalitions in the business. Employees may automatically question a young family member's talent or commitment to the business unless they start from the beginning, grassroots level, maybe as trainees. Senior managers may worry about the security of their jobs. It is another power, eagerness. As the person rises in rank at the company, right? They may feel their own chances for advancement are now limited, or they may be worried about being caught in the middle of family conflicts, such as getting one set of directions from the older generation and another set of from younger one. Explains Jeff Wobson, an attorney who specializes, one expert, specializes in family business at the Boston law firm of Goston and Strauss. Should parents who own businesses avoid hiring their children or hide their children's identity once they are hired? Of course not. But Watson says they can prevent or end destructive politics in a number of ways. That is his opinion. First, they can hire offspring at the entry level in the company, as did Miles S. J.R. Jr. and his brother Bill, who own Purity Dairies Incorporation based in Nashville, Tennessee. These are cities. 3 sons, a daughter, and a son-in-law who joined the company now hold management positions, but they started small from the beginning. Because they came here directly out of college and hadn't worked elsewhere first. They spent at least 3 years working in different areas, getting a feel for them, says Miles. That is good. They worked in some of the worst jobs like clean up, detail, in the milk plant or in the garage. And they spent 6 months running milk routes. The Eshel offspring never replaced another worker, and it became clear early on that favorism was not going to be a problem in that setup, no? Right. Wolfson agrees that children of founders or owners must learn the business from the bottom up, even if they are assured of succession. The second generation needs to show some patience, he advises. Mentoring can also help avoid destructive politics, as long as mentor is not a family member, right? He should be an external person. A trusted or learned manager can help acquaint the young person with the company in an unobstructive manner, sometimes even acting as a go-between with the young person and other workers. Referent power. If the young family member can work both ways, the young family member can work both ways. Certification. The young person may worry that his or her association with other employees are based solely on connections with the founding family. Yeah, others may perceive that, no? But in other cases, it benefits everyone. Gray Langsam, president of Float and Stern Incorporation, a wholesale meat company and meat packing plant in New York City, recalls positive relationship with other employees, even though they knew his father was a company partner or the founder. They watched him work his way up from the bottom and grew to trust him. I would listen to their suggestions and pass them along my father, he says. All that helped me ease my way and break down any resentment the workers had at having the boss's kid in their midst. Right. That is good, no? Therefore, hiring the kids doesn't have to be a disaster. It just takes good political strategies, power political strategies that benefit everyone in the organization, as we discussed in the particular section in that article, to identify positive effects of organizational politics. No? Right. It should foster equality, justice, harmony, teamwork, learning, information sharing, all these things, now sentiments, good sentiments, among others, everybody. Right. Therefore, I think similar things were discussed by us as important keywords, concepts in our lesson today. All are in the practice at the organization level, at the national and international levels. Right. We will read these summary points also. Delegation is an essential element of any manager's job. If used effectively, delegation provides a real benefit to everyone involved. Major indicator of justified use of power is delegation of authority by the management. It is the process through which a manager gives authority, not responsibility, authority to their subordinates in order to accomplish certain assignments or tasks. The work culture which utilizes the delegation of authority improves the job satisfaction, motivation, and morale of employees. But job satisfaction comes last, as per the process theories of motivation. Right. Further, it is helpful in satisfying the employee's need for recognition, responsibility, freedom, and autonomy. Power is the ability to affect change, while authority is the right to make any given decision. That's how we distinguish authority power. Authority is the right to make a decision. Power is the ability to introduce changes with the influence. Right. That's the only part I think, of this book where we see the today's topics mainly, In other places also sometimes those should be there, but this is the place highly touch there. But normally power politics are highly seen in OB books, organizational behavior subject. You will do that later. All these would be a good preparation for you to do them later. But in the practice, we can't separate these concept subjects as we do in education programs. Practice, everything will come together without good order. Right, then we will try to see a paper, but for this subject, I don't have much past papers. I started doing this subject recently, maybe from the last year, or one before the last. I have uploaded one past paper to the LMS, but it is not here, not in my folder. But before that, I'll try to show you one outset of team assignment submitted by your seniors. But you have to improve quality of your report than this. Yeah, this is how the cover page has been developed by them. There are 5 members. Yeah, acknowledgement, team acknowledgement, but they have not included executive summary or abstract, no? Yeah, that may be one limitation. Before the contents, at least you have to include one paragraph, no, about abstract or executive summary, covering background, purpose, the way you completed, and the key learning purpose of the assignment. Yeah, this is a normal miscellaneous page. All these are miscellaneous pages, but without these, you can't complete the report. Yeah. These are the three sections, subsections I asked the team to include in the introduction section, background, purpose, approach. You don't have to give, have a full stops here. These are subheadings. Yeah, then concepts, planning, organizing, leading, leadership. The similar concepts have been listed here. Conclusion and learning points. Then avoid the full stops are here. References. Need not to number that. Other sections can be numbered. Yeah, then background. Likewise, a small para can be given. Purpose. Actually, main purpose has been given in the course outline also of the subject. Likewise, you have to present the approach. How you, completed this one, no, should be summarized here. These are not the correct information included by this team. The planning. Yeah, you can use diagrams also. Yeah, set plan goals, characteristics, types. There was this from my handout there. Need not to include information unnecessarily. Then it moves more than 2 pages, no? Right. Then organizing. Process of organizing. Principles. Yeah, that's enough. Leadership. Yeah, we can understand the behavior of a leader from this picture also. Principles. Motivation. Characteristics. Extrinsic, intrinsic. Major theories. Oh, too many pages. Communication. A model. Effective barriers. Teamwork. Benefits, issues, and how to improve that. Controlling. Next one. Process. Types. Methods. Environment. Elements. Models. Then nutrients in management. Some of them. TQM. Crisis management. Risk management. Chain management. Globalization. Trends in operation management like supply chain management, trends in marketing, trends in HRM. Right. Then last concept, business sustainability. Examples, why it is, and overall conclusion and learning points. Right. Then references mentioned in the body, but this is not the good way of using APA style. You can learn that from a particular book or article, how they have used the APA style. Then you can learn from them. Or you can Google for APA guidelines. Right. Not perfect, but overall the report has covered the basic guidelines. But now you identify weaknesses, no? And the strength also. Then based on that, try to finalize your work, improve your work. Online members also noticed this, no? We quickly went through that. To benchmark, it is called benchmarking, not copying, but benchmarking, compare for your purpose, to improve your purpose. And I should go to the LMS, not to download that. That may be in my pen drive. You have searched. No, I will download from the LMS. And this is one previous paper, no? But we studied this, no? Appeared in that book, e-book. We discussed this. But I have some different questions. Oh, similar questions. No, different questions, no? Briefly explain 5 major managerial issues faced by this organization as per the above case. 20 marks. Why should we briefly explain? No, one point can get 4 marks. Then altogether 20. Then briefly explain a solution to each problem you identified above. Know how that problem can be addressed. Right. That's the other part. We have read this, no? Before. Yeah, then how to identify problems. Then you have to, call upon the topics we discuss in this subject, no? But not only that, you have to, read the information given here. Then accordingly, you are combining both information of the case and the concepts we learn in the subject. Combining both, you have to derive answers. Right. But you have to write the answers. Without writing, you can't improve writing. Right. Then can you identify one problem area here? If you follow the lesson orders, first one introduction. From introduction lesson, anything can you derive from here? About management, the need of balance in or enhance in efficiency, effectiveness together to achieve the goals. Any problem relating to that? Then only you can use that point. Otherwise, you have to ignore that. Then go for other things. Any efficiency issue or effectiveness issue or anything? Using your brain, I think you can justify that. But one information should be captured to do that. One major problem found here is the problem in the HRM, no? HRM or performance evaluation, no? The problem of using the performance evaluation method in this company, it is not balanced. It is not meaningful. It is more biased to the financial indicators, right? It has not identified the other non-financial indicators. Yeah. Therefore, it is not effective. Performance management framework is not effective. It can be efficient, but not effective, no? Right. In that way, you have to, change the language. Right. Another one. We don't see strong company values, no? Develop and working for this company. That may be another problem. Poor corporate culture, organizational culture, to appear as good shared values for this company. That may be the first problem, I think. Right. Then a little elaborate that. Because of that, even leaders are not helpful, no? Leaders are not much clear about what kind of strategy should be formulated and how they should be implemented to get the other supports. Right. Then leadership. I think leader behavior is good, no? The leader, Vijay Kamath, has intention to share all information and to empower people to have teamwork. We don't see much problem of leadership, but we see a problem of communication of them, no? He is lacking communication and trust building, no? Trust building. And to fill all gaps, we don't see the middle managers of this company have been used as intermediaries. What we discuss under leadership development principles. That is another problem. Right. Likewise, and controlling, no? Most control methods are very reactive, no? This doesn't use proactive controls. Effective. Yeah, all can be some 5, 6 problematic areas. Right. That's how the first part of the answer should be provided. Taking about 1-2 pages. Not taking 1 page is enough, no? 2%. It is not enough. Yeah, having 1 page is enough, right? Anyhow, you have to give a meaningful 5 problematic areas, issue areas. Managerial issues, management issues. But our subject covers all functional areas also, no? Management, not only strategy, functional areas, HRM, everything, project, all applicable. Marketing, finance, accounting, IT, all applicable. It's a broader discipline, management. Right. Then now you can easily give the solution with replacement. No, if that is the case, culture. Then now the senior managers, no, should be able to introduce good values, no, strong values. Identify strong values. This business and introduce them one by one. If they see any weak values, right, in the business, they should be strengthened through training, development, those things. Then, if you said that leader had poor communication, now he should use listening, good listening, and use appropriate communication to match with the audience. No, like what we discussed in communication lesson. Then to address that performance unbalance nature of the performance management system, now you can propose in the coming years, no, in NEST, especially the HR manager of this company, HR department of this company should include KPIs into other areas like custom area, internal process, and learning and growth areas. That's how these two new questions given here, no, should be addressed. The same case with new questions. But whatever the case, I normally will ask these similar two questions to identify problems and to give solutions. Mostly, yeah, right. Then others are structured questions, no? Others are structured questions. But here you have to answer all questions, no? All 5 questions should be answered. Right. Yeah, it is said, no, based on the relevant concepts you learn in the management fundamental course, briefly. Right. The second one, there's a small explanation, narrative. The thoughts of management evolve over time due to the forces influencing the practice of management. Right. Then, as we discussed in the handout, 2 questions were asked. No, select any clear early historical trends in management and evaluate its applicability to the modern workplace. Only one early trend should be identified. We had a diagram also, no? Right. But need not to provide the diagram here. You have to select any early approach, classical approach. Not only classical, no? We consider behavioral, quantitative also under that. Any of them, any one of them can be presented. After that, we have to evaluate whether those concepts can be, how far those concepts can be applied in the modern business world. Then you have to do a strength and weakness analysis, SW analysis. Right. Then, as example, you can present scientific management of behavioral management or quantitative approach. Right. But in scientific management is only one in the classical approach. That is one trend. Or you can present the whole classical ideas also. You have the freedom for that. But you have to earn only 10 marks. Then use only 15 minutes in maximum to earn 10 marks. To earn a mark, 1.5 minutes should be used. 1.5 minutes should be used. That's a time management guideline. Huh? Right. Then similar way, from the other side of the diagram, now you can select another recent historical one, maybe a system theory, contingency theory. Right. Then other new trends like quality, total quality, technology driven workplace, likewise. But better to select a very familiar one like system theory. Then you can provide the diagram, no? Open system diagram view. Then you can evaluate how, but last part is somewhat different, no? How that can help today's organization to gain competitive advantages. If you use system theory, you can easily explain that. Today, I think all environments are drastically changing, no? Therefore, system theory initially highlights the importance of adapting to the external environment, knowing the role of the external environment. Right. Then in that way, you can identify some strength. But since the terms competitive advantages is there, then now you can explain how modern companies can gain competitive advantage. Then you can use the knowledge of Porter's strategies, no? Cost leadership, differentiation, market strategies. Those also should be explained. Mere using one single word is not enough. No, it should be, presented with other explanations, underlying explanations. That's how you can disseminate the knowledge in a paper. You are supposed to use the knowledge in the paper. Then examiner should know that you are knowledgeable and you can apply the knowledge. But here, not mere applying, you know how to apply. No? You can communicate how that knowledge can be applied. No? You have to communicate in the paper. It is an academic job as a student, no, in management. Managers will apply, but now here in an exam, your role is not a manager role, but a management student role. Student role should be communicated. But all next teachers, learners in management try to explain about the practice. Even theories are developed based on the practice. Then we have to communicate how these concepts are in practice. Our role is the student role, no? Student role. Alright, teacher role. Therefore, it's a matter of presenting written communication, no? In a very concrete manner, good manner. To do that, you have to think. First, think. On a rough paper, you have to have the outline of your answer. Right? Then after that, looking at that time to time, write the actual things on the paper. Then you can get full marks for a subject. Sometimes we know all of these things, no, but we are poor in writing, communicating this in a paper, because that we are not getting the expected grade, or we are going down the minimum. Therefore, from these revision classes, we have to get trained for that, how to use our knowledge, communicate our knowledge in a proper way to match with the words and the tasks of the question and question parts. And time management is also important. Right, looking at the given marks, you have to plan the time and the paper. And consider the verbs also, whether it is to identify, explain, describe, discuss, briefly explain, distinguish, explain with examples. Then you have to clearly identify keywords of the question. Once you do this, it would be a very good motivation for you. If you have done that with the first question, then you can be very happy, relaxed, and others can be done successful. Then things are coming to your mind. You are in the good mood now. Then even if you have not worked hard, things will come to your mind. It's a psychological game. Third one, again there's a small narrative. Managers must do planning first, as it leads to set goals of the organization and its resource allocation to achieve the goals effectively. Right. Then two questions. First one gives 6 marks, the other one is bigger, giving 14 marks. But both are descriptive type questions. Right. First one, then you should know if there's a diagram, you have to provide that. To describe, no? A diagram should be provided. Describe the levels of organizational plans with examples. That triangle diagram should be provided. Then after that, briefly explain. Give some examples for them with similar words. Then you can do that, no? That's what they have cut and pasted in the report also. A similar diagram now. Describe the process of planning with appropriate examples. That's the other one they have cut and pasted. 5-stage process should be provided. It gives more marks. Then briefly explain what happens in defining planning, translating plan operations, execution, and review and fit. How monitor and review happens. That's all. Not any other things about planning and listen. Okay. In a step, the main process, main step name should be there. Then in bullets, you can present the elements, no? Elements. Under execution, 3 elements can be given, no? In 3 bullets. MBO, standing plans, single-use plans. While studying, you can draw them to practice drawing. That is the best way. While studying, draw that. You can study maybe in the bed, but you have to do these things. Otherwise, you will sleep. Then better to, use a pen and paper, write them, but don't throw them. Have them in a bundle. Then overnight even you can get ready. Get ready for them. Remind them for the subject. Where the exam is on the next day, in the next morning. These are the learning teaching habits, good learning habits. Fourth one, successful managers are effective leaders who inspire people and direct them to achieve the full potential. Right, 2 questions, 10 marks for each. Then you can give the equal weight for the 2 questions. Select a theory of work motivation and evaluate is similar question, not to the above one. Right. Then here, any theory of motivation from 2 group theories can be taken. Even all can use even Maslow's needs hierarchy, since this is the first one we studied. But after providing the diagram and the words and briefly explaining them, you have to finally identify the positives and negatives of using this theory to understand modern work motivation. Right. But even when I was explaining theory, I said no. Some assumptions cannot be agreed upon. No. Right. Those can be the limitations. Maslow has said those assumptions, but some of them are not practically seen. That would be the weakness part. Then, based on that, Alderfer presented the three needs theory, criticizing the Maslow's some rational assumptions. The similar things can be, considered even today as limitations. But before that, you have to identify the strength of that. Even today, these are the 5 common needs we all try to satisfy as individual workers. Likewise, identify good points of that. But more marks can be earned by providing the diagram and the elements of for a question like this. But you can't have full marks unless you present the evaluation part, points for the evaluation. Then nicely you can manage lines. Don't put everything together. After providing the information for the first part, then have a clear line space and give other points for other part. Then you can underline or highlight in a seeable area, observable area. You can highlight things also to motivate the reader. That is to motivate the reader, attract the reader. Right, then describe the situational leadership with examples. Then for that purpose, we use Hersey-Blanchard model, no? But there should be an introductory sentence or sentences to present the role of situational leadership. Right. Then after that, as a popular situational leadership model, the following Hersey-Blanchard model is provided. Then have the diagram, briefly explain that, and give some examples. Right. To explain that. The 4 styles, at least to explain the 4 styles. Right, then last one is to provide short notes. Here 6 were given, but on 5 of them, you have to provide a small, short paragraphs, meaningful paragraphs. One gets 4 marks. Then total 20. Right. First one is about transformational leadership. We discussed that in the last as the last model of leadership. But alone you can't tell some things about transformational. Compared to transactional, you have to give the points. Right. Alone you can't tell this. Right. Then intrinsic motivation. Again, you can tell something about the opposite also, in telling about this. Extrinsic. Right. Metrics departmentalization. Then you can have the diagram, in that matrix form. Then briefly explain. Then what is the exception? I mean, unity of command is an exception for this. You can highlight that also. General environment. Here, I not to give the whole diagram, but identify the 6 forces in the general environment, and briefly explain. And you can, briefly explain. Work empowerment. Yeah, we discussed in cases also, lot of involvements with this. This is one major organizing principle seen in modern HRM also. Tell that what is that. Then try to give some ways of empowering workers, including training and development. And give some conditions, 2 conditions to have this. Feedback controlling. This is the third type of controlling, feedback controlling. Then give the meaning of that, then give some examples. So, most financial control methods are feed-forward control methods. Sorry, feedback control methods. Right, that's how, but you have to write the answers. I can only guide. But this is better, this way is better, no? Then all of you can learn how to know, how to do the things. If you know how to do the things, you can do that easily. This is not an A-level tuition class, no? Even at the A-level level, this is the way revision should be done. Then only students can develop their own style, capacities. Otherwise, they would be parrots. To answer a question, the similar question discussed in the class should come in the exam in a similar way. Otherwise, they will panic. They will be panic. Yeah, we have to improve the thinking capacity of students. Thinking. Then, if they know what to do, then they can do. But we have more time, to finish. We learn 40, 45. I have given another question, but I don't know whether the exam was conducted. If it has not been conducted, if I do that today, I think it is not a good thing. It is not still a past paper if not the exam was done. But similar pattern was there with a new case, similar to questions in the below the case. Then other structure of the other questions are also same. Asked to write for all answers, all questions. For you also better, not to give choices. But now all are done in physical mode. Physical mode, then sometimes I can add one or two more questions. But anyhow, at least expect 5 marks, five questions. First one is a case like this. Then you have 3 hours, so no, 2.5 hours, 2 and 30 minutes, 2.5 hours. That is enough. That means 150 minutes. 150 minutes. Then 30 minutes can be used for one question. 30 minutes, including reading. That is possible. Don't worry about the time for this paper. Sometimes you can save a little time. But first, read the questions. In any paper, read the questions carefully. Use rough works. You can annex the rough work even if you like, if they are relevant. Otherwise, don't do that. Then have your index numbers only. Use only index numbers. Exam numbers. Index numbers. Sometimes it would be the registration number. Anyhow, the given allowed index number should be given, not your names or personal information. Then write that on each paper, each continuation. On the first page of the booklet, you have write the exam name, right? Exam name, semester, and subject code name also. Then below, write the attempt order, question attempted order. Not with A to 5, 1 to 5, but according to the answered order. First would be 5, then 3, 1, 2, 4, like that. Person to person, it differs. Therefore, no MCQs. Sometimes MCQ answer sheet would be given. It is if it is not applicable, you can keep that. Only the booklets and supportive pages should be used to write the things. Right, any other questions? And this is the exam submission place. Here we can submit on 19, before 11:59 night. Some recorded files have been uploaded here. Can? Why? Then others also will ask. No? But 9, you got 9? That is enough, no? If so, others also will ask, no? But that was given only, she had 3 marks. Very poor. Below the condition, minimum. 7 is enough. Even to have A grade. No, I can give, but then others also will ask. It is never ending there. But only a very poorly scored student, few students were given the chance. They are below the minimum. Now online members are happy, no? All I think got good marks for this quiz out of 10. Yeah, you heard about how to approach, no, with the past paper, the previous paper. Do you have any other questions, clarifications? Sometimes I may come on the 2 other days, or else I will use an option, alternative. Informally, this would be the last one for you from me, But we have to continue this class. I think as per the office, we have to use other 2 sessions also on 19th and 26th, no? Then shall we study another case or something from the book? Here we did not identify questions, no? For this case. Yes.
We have a quiz today for business econ. Can we use this slide too?
Ah, right. Yeah. You have a quiz for similar quizzes are now used by other lecturers also.
10 marks.
Huh?
10 marks.
10 marks. What's the way they use?
Online.
Online. Orally you have to tell them.
No, you have to answer online.
Ah, right. It's a structure. These are MCQs. Ah, that is good.
Can we use this?
Okay then. Now you are happy now? You are confident about this subject? Eh? Not perfect, but significantly you are confident. Right. Then I will proceed accordingly on the other 2 days. But keep in mind on 19th you have to upload the PDF copies to the LMS. Only one copy for the one team. Leader or a member can upload only one copy for the team. One PDF copy for the team. Not 2 copies for a team. Then I have to filter it. I have to go through them and filter, select. It takes time. Sometimes even a cartoon error also can happen from me, if so. Right, I have side. Yes, this is better no, than using duster for the whiteboards. This is clean very well. But we have to wash this no, cloth periodically. Who is doing that, Dr. Disankar? Sajidar? One new lecture. Okay, then you can get ready for that, no? Since you asked from me for your other subject, because this is management, no? Then you should be able to manage other subjects also. You should be able to manage the situations, right? I will proceed accordingly, depending on the circumstances on other 2 days. Yeah. Otherwise, I'll use an option, right, to send Mr. Sukunda again. Okay, then good luck then. But I say so informal, yeah, not formal. Tentative. This schedule should have been gone very strictly, no? This is a hybrid class, I think. That's a requirement as per the office. No cancellations, no alterations. Okay, then thanks. We will proceed accordingly then, right?